Well, today is the 9th of July, it's 2025, and I'm going to start the second part of our story as we make our way to the campsite. We just left the Landcrest Common, the golf course there, and Pembroke, and we're heading towards our campsite. And one of the reasons for starting here is just because one of the things that Guernsey is really known for is tomatoes, and they're grown under glass. And there are some huge, or at least there used to be some huge greenhouses here. I'm just walking down a back lane, and just wanted to start this story off now. The story starts, well, I suppose around about 1970, and I'd started high school, and one of the teachers there was organising a trip to Austria, of all places, and I signed up to it with another boy that was in my class, and off we went to Austria. And then a year or so later, the same teacher was organising a camping trip to Pembroke in North Wales. We did that, and another camping trip on another occasion into Dovedale. And he then he used to organise annually a trip to Guernsey, and well, I got signed up for that one as well. And the trip what I did was in 1973, and I would have walked along these lanes from the campsite, which is called La Bayauterie. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. And they're beautiful lanes with beautiful houses. There's one from 1849, another stone house here. Some of them really quite tiny little places.
Flowers at these poppies.
This particular road is signed as a tranquil walk for bicycles and pedestrians. So yes, in 1973, way before I knew Anita, we set off from Stoke-on-Trent in a minibus, a green minibus I seem to remember. Later on we had a white one. And and we headed off down to Weymouth, and we left Stoke-on-Trent about 11 o'clock at night and drove down the motorway, the M6, the M5, and all through the night, getting down to Weymouth in time for the early ferries. Ferries don't leave Weymouth anymore, certainly don't go to Guernsey from Weymouth anymore. And it was incredibly rough, the sea, and well, I was told that we got a force 8, which is a really serious storm. And the minibus we were in, we'd got a trailer behind us, and the boys all got out of the trailer. The trailer was then loaded into the back of the minibus. It all came apart, and all the goods and camping gear and stuff was put into the back of the minibus. And the minibus was then loaded onto a cargo ship, and we went onto the ferry as foot passengers. Well, we left, the ship went up and down, it rolled and rocked, lots and lots of people were ill, lots of people were sick, and we got to Guernsey. And some of us, I think, perhaps were a little green. I don't think I was seasick at all. I think I managed to make the whole journey.
Can I just show you those beautiful wildflowers?
There are some beautiful flowers there. I seemed to make the whole journey, but we didn't have a cabin. You just had what we call in Spain a butaca, which is a fairly comfortable seat, and you try to sleep. But if you slept, you did okay, because you missed all the roughness. So you'd have people stumbling over you, going to the toilet to be sick. And anyway, we arrived in Guernsey, but the cargo ship didn't, and the cargo ship stayed in Weymouth until the storm settled down. So we arrived in Guernsey without anything at all. We had no camping equipment, no clothes, no food. Everything was in our minibus in Weymouth on a cargo ship that was awaiting to leave and join us. And it didn't do for at least a couple of days. So we, along with all other passengers who'd got vehicles that had been taken on that cargo ship, which weren't many other people, but we were quite a large group. There were 17 of us, and we had to be found some accommodation, which they did. They found us some accommodation just on the outskirts of St. Peter Port, and it was basically some camp beds put into a room. There was a toilet and showers, and well, we were in a sort of a military-style dormitory. And I'm not sure how the food worked, but I think we were doing the cooking ourselves. And so certainly when we were camping, we did all the cooking ourselves. And the naughty sort of boys that I was, and with some friends, we would sneak out, and we sneaked out, and we must have got back a little bit late, and we were put on jankers. Jankers, for those who don't know, is like you got given all the dirty jobs. So for us, it was washing all the pots and pans and doing all the cleaning up. But it was great. We did it. We enjoyed it. We got on with it. It was fine. Anyway, after a couple of days, the camping equipment and everything arrived, and we managed to set up camp in Vale, which is the north part of the island, which is where we are right now. And we're at a campsite called La Bayoterie, which I'm hoping is very close to where we are now. I think it might be just
in the middle of nowhere,
just over this wall. And I don't actually remember these lanes very clearly, but hopefully we're getting down to what's called the Bray Road. Not sure whether we're there yet. We might have a little bit further to go. So, story about leading up to that camp was that we used to, at school, practice putting up all of the tents. Let this lady go. Cross over. And they're just very narrow streets, very narrow roads down here. So I was saying we had our tents with us in the minibus and in the trailer, and we'd practiced on putting the tents all together, and they were quite complicated things. They were the early days of frame tents that we had in those days, and so quite luxurious accommodation for boys of 15, I suppose we were. So yeah, we could actually stand up, and we had a little area in the front, and then a couple of bedrooms where people would sleep, and usually I think 4 to one of these frame tents. And so we'd had lots of practice putting them up, and so when the camping gear arrived, just setting them out was quite straightforward. And we were going to be camping for a month, and one thing we always did, even on the other camps that I've mentioned, was to put a piece of plastic sheeting down underneath the tent, which had a built-in Guernsey sheet, and it just stopped it getting all muddy and messy. Made it a lot easier to pack up at the end. And so we all mucked in, set up our own little workstations. We had to build a latrine. Basically meant digging a ditch. So we got a shovel, spade, and we dug ditch, and we put a screen around it. We built a toilet tent or 2, and the only facility we actually had in the field where we were camping was the tap in the corner, and there was just one tap, and everything had to be carried from that tap to where we were camping. The other really useful thing that we had was a marquee, quite a big 40-foot marquee, ex-army marquee, which was huge, and inside there we'd got tables and benches, and we had a proper cooker, the sort of thing that you had at home with 4 burners, an oven, and a gas bottle. And by the side of that we had a boiler, which would take quite a lot of water that we could heat up for either for cooking or for washing. So we didn't have any problem with hot water, we didn't have any problem with cooking. And we used to have cookware that would come out of the kitchen at the school. So big trays to do the cooking with. Lovely buildings here. I've got a fork in the road. I'm going to have to consult my map to see where we're going now. Do we go left or do we go right? So that's the road to the left. We're going to take the even narrower road to the right. Lovely sunflowers. And this one is a very, very narrow lane. We'd have a problem if a car comes this way, because I don't think there's much room for us to stand to the side. I'm guessing it's one way. The campsite. Oh, that's a building that's interesting. The campsite's called La Bayoterie. And I think that's what this road is called. So we would camp there for a whole month, and the only facility we had was a tap, and we did have hot water, and we had these old army wash basins, which was like a tripod with a canvas sink attached to it, and that's where every morning you had to have your wash. And we didn't have any showers, so we used to swim in the sea every day. And every now and again we would get like a garden spray and fill it with water, and we'd have fun in the fields just spraying each other down, getting rid of the salt and having a shower. It was very basic. And because we were there for so long and the tents were in one place for such a long time, the owner of the site would ask us every week or so to move the tents, just so the grass had a chance to recover. The owner of the campsite was a man named Harold Collis. And this is it, La Bayoterie Farm. And this is the campsite. And here are our tents. There was lots of fields here, lots of facilities, and there's a big group over there I can see, sitting down having their lunch. And whole fields here with lots of pitches where you can camp. And some big tents and some little tents. So we spent a month, and in that month I discovered the island of Guernsey. And what a beautiful island it was. And then years later I met Anita, and it's one of the things that I wanted to show her. La Bayoterie camping, cars and reception is that way. And there's a big greenhouse there as well. And we've got a car
And
coming
all
up.
these lanes.
I don't think we used these lanes very much when we came. So there's not much room. So when
Scouts and guides here as well.
yeah, but we didn't know any of the scouts and guides. When Anita and I came, we came on our own, just the two of us, and that's another story. But then we used to come with the boys from the school, and Anita was teaching at another school, and they used to come to Guernsey as well. So it was we would be with them, or they would join us, and that was quite interesting. So all of this on the side here is part of the campsite. We're coming down now to one of the main roads, but I do want to get to the field where we did our camping. Just hope my battery's going to last. 25%. It's another one of these greenhouses, lots and lots of greenhouses on the island. And when we set up our camp, one of the jobs I was given was to go across the road to the tomato, slow down for ducks and ducklings. I was told to go across the road to the tomato packing factory and ask them if they'd got any overripes. So I would go in, find the man in charge and say, "Have you got any overripes?" And he would take me to a skip that was literally full of tomatoes that were just perfect. Red tomatoes, but they were too ripe to send back to the UK or send anywhere else. So they were referred to as overripe. And he would give me a tray and he'd say, "Just fill it up," and I'd go across every day to this place here. This is La Majorca. This is actually the field we camped in. It's now being camped in by the cows, and these are Guernsey cows. So this is our campsite. I just don't think I can walk up anymore. Look at the size of that cow. What a lovely animal. So it's not a camping field anymore. And my memory was that the tap was somewhere in this corner. The cows have actually found some shade. Don't know if I can get any closer. We would camp over on that side. It doesn't look as though this one's being used at all. I'm going to walk up here because this is memory lane. It's quite literally a lane that's so full of memories. The blackberries along here. We would have to walk up here to get into this field. And then the more fields up there, which is where Anita's school party would be. So this would be the entrance to our field, which is no longer a camping field, but that is up there, and that would take us to the campsite office. And there were always other groups here. Absolutely wonderful. Well, that's that stage of this video's. I think we'll finish this one here with our campsite right in the background there, and across the road would be the tomato packing company. And eventually there was across there was like a macro, and we used to go and buy wholesalers where we could buy various things, huge tins of tomatoes. And yeah, did we buy tins of tomatoes? I can't remember. Anyway, that's it for this one. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next. So bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.